Well, 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 Kinsey Schofield is at it again. You know, the royal commentator who somehow manages to talk about Meghan Markle more than Meghan Markle talks about Meghan Markle. Today, on her latest episode of Kinsey Schofield Unfiltered, which, by the way, is basically Kinsey Schofield unsubstantiated, she's decided to give us her insider breakdown of 5 Meghan Markle projects that supposedly never came to life after Megxit. You know the drill, Meghan breathes. Kinsey writes a dissertation about it. But buckle up, because today we're not letting her narrative slide. We're going to fact-check every pearl of shade she tries to drop, and we're going to turn this so-called failure list into the proof of Meghan's resilience, influence and business acumen. There has been much talk about a supposed partnership between Meghan Markle and the iconic fashion house Dior. Some have gone so far as to label the absence of this deal as a personal or professional failure for the Duchess of Sussex. The narrative of a lucrative contract falling through spread rapidly across tabloids and social media, feeding into a broader storyline of unfulfilled ambition and missed opportunities. But if we look closer, the origins of this story are incredibly murky. The claims are based almost entirely on anonymous sources, whispers and pure speculation, rather than any concrete evidence. In fact, representatives from both Meghan Markle and Dior have publicly clarified that no such deal was ever in the works, and there were never any negotiations or plans for a partnership. This entire episode is a classic example of a media invention, a story conjured from thin air with no basis in reality, yet repeated until it seems true. It's curious, even troubling, to see someone critiqued so harshly for a failure that never actually happened, for a deal that never existed in the first place. Instead of focusing on the supposed failure, perhaps we should ask why this story was created and who benefits from its circulation. The persistence of such rumours reveals more about the critics and the media landscape than it does about Meghan herself. Ultimately, the so-called Dior story is not a tale of Meghan's shortcomings, but a reflection of how easily media narratives can be invented and believed. This episode serves as a reminder to always question the sources of our information, to look beyond the headlines, and to separate fact from fiction or imagined scenarios. When we examine the details closely, the narrative of failure simply dissolves, leaving behind only the truth, and a lesson in media literacy for us all. The 40 by 40 initiative, launched on the Duchess's 40th birthday, is often labelled a failure by critics and the media. But what does failure really mean in the context of a movement built on hope and connection? Critics claim it faded into obscurity, pointing to the lack of ongoing headlines and viral moments as evidence that it didn't make a lasting mark. But the project was never meant for constant headlines or to dominate the news cycle. Its purpose was quieter, more personal, and far more profound. At its heart, it was a call to action, an invitation for people everywhere to dedicate 40 minutes of their time to mentor women re-entering the workforce, especially after the challenges of the pandemic. The goal was never to build a new organization or create a permanent institution. Instead, it aimed to inspire simple acts of kindness, support, and encouragement. Small gestures that can change the course of someone's life. Success in this context is measured not in press releases or public accolades, but in the lives touched, the confidence restored, and the opportunities unlocked for women who needed a helping hand. For every woman who found guidance, support, or a renewed sense of purpose through mentorship, the project was a resounding success. The initiative sparked a global conversation about the power of mentorship, reminding us that change often begins with a single, compassionate act. Its impact, though not always visible or easily measured, was real and deeply meaningful to those involved. To label it a failure is to misunderstand its true spirit. The 40x40 initiative was never about numbers or headlines. It was about hope, solidarity, and the ripple effect of kindness. It was an act of service, a birthday wish transformed into a movement for others' benefit, and a reminder that even small efforts can create lasting change. The good it produced continues to grow, quietly but powerfully, a testament to the enduring impact of genuine kindness and the true spirit of 40x40. The Duchess's venture, American Riviera Orchard, faces criticism for its slow product launch. Critics see the quiet as a sign of trouble, but this perspective stems from a desire for instant gratification. The brand's launch is deliberate and thoughtful, reflecting personal values. The initial gifting of jam was a personal introduction, not a commercial launch. Building a business requires patience like tending a garden. The Duchess is ensuring every aspect of the brand is right. This methodical approach is a sign of care, not failure. New ventures need space and time to develop. Declaring it a failure now is premature. We must allow the story to unfold. Patience is a virtue in both nature and business. The narrative of failure extends to the film adaptation of and the podcast. Critics see the lack of news as abandonment, but film development is slow and complex. Quiet periods are normal, not signs of failure. The podcast was a success, debuting at #1 and winning awards. The decision not to renew with Spotify is a standard business move. Creative partners often part ways after successful projects. The reality is more nuanced than criticism allows. One project is in early development, the other a completed success. Misrepresenting them as failures ignores industry context. Success is sometimes quiet, leaving a lasting impact. Critics overlook genuine accomplishments, focusing on perceived missteps. The partnership with Netflix has been fruitful, with breaking records. This success was followed by impactful projects like The Duchess's book became a bestseller. These are major successes in competitive fields. Their philanthropic efforts thrive through the Arkewell Foundation. The foundation supports various causes, creating positive impacts. This work is often done quietly, driven by a desire to help. The narrative of failure crumbles when viewing their body of work. They have built a successful post-royal life using their platform for good. How do we measure a life? By critics' harsh words or the quiet impact of actions? The journey of the Duke and Duchess is one of transformation and resilience. They have built a life on their terms, blending family, business and service. This path is not easy, but it is theirs, walked with determination. We can choose to focus on our growth and definition of success. True fulfillment is found in a life lived with purpose and integrity. Let us celebrate perseverance and honor the courage to forge new paths. Meghan Markle's story is one of resilience and impact, so maybe instead of listing projects that never came to life, Kinsey should make an episode about projects that never came to Kinsey's understanding. Because Meghan's career is about quality over quantity, strategic timing over chaotic rushing, and, most importantly, doing it on her own terms. And honestly, if this is what Meghan's flops look like, I'd hate to see her wins. Oh wait, we already have, and they're breaking records left, right and centre. So here's your takeaway. While Kinsey's busy trying to spin Meghan's story into failure, Meghan is busy living a life Kinsey can only podcast about. Cue the jam sales, Netflix streams, and record-breaking book royalties. Meghan's not just fine, she's flourishing. And the only thing that's truly not coming to life here is Kinsey's narrative.